Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a very special video for you today. It's to kick off the Sparkle Season holiday release with Trinity stamps. I am going to be making 3 different cards in today's video using this large ornament shaker die set. This is part of the new release, as are several other holiday stamps, dies, stencils. So much fun in this release, and I think you're going to like the holiday hop as well. So here's card number 1. I'm going to start out by creating a background. So I have got some Distress Oxide inks that I am using today, Rustic Wilderness here. It's just smashing it right down onto my glass mat, and then I spritzed it with water and just kind of mixed it around on my glass mat. And I really would like to be doing this with some watercolor paper, but I have ran out. So I decided just to use my regular white cardstock. It's going to give me a little bit different look than I normally would get doing such smooshing backgrounds, but I'm going for it anyway. So I have a second color of green here that I'm using. I believe this is Mowed Lawn, and I'm just trying to layer up the different colors and get some nice variety of greens in the background. So once I am done with one color, I will dry it and do the next color. So now I'm bringing in Salvage Patina. This is like my favorite color. So I wanted to add just a little bit of that for like some variation. So I'm doing the same exact thing, just smashing it down into my paper. And then I am also going to be doing some splattering. So might as well pick up that excess and splatter it down, right? Yeah, so I'm using the edge of a block just to tap my paintbrush onto there, and I'm getting some nice splatters. So now I can heat this up and let those splatters dry before I add some more splatters. So I just brought back in the same ink pads that I already used and added splatter from that. I'm using a little bit different paintbrush, just trying to get different size of droplets. I really like a scraggly kind of paintbrush, not one that like comes to a nice fine tip that you would watercolor with. Okay, so that is dry, and now I'll bring in that large die ornament. I'm going to die cut this right from the center, and you'll see once I die cut it that I'm going to have like a frame that is the ornament shape, and then I'll also have a circle. I'm going to save those 2 pieces and make cards out of both of those. That's card number 2 and 3. But for my first card, I'm going to use this piece that I cut the ornament from, and this is going to become a shaker card. So I'm just going to add a piece of window sheet to the back of that, gluing it in place, and then I can inlay this red ornament piece, which you saw die cut at the beginning of the video from some red foil paper. And now I'm bringing in the Simply Sentimental holiday set. This is new, and it coordinates with all of our other Simply Sentimental sets. So you can see it has the word holiday or holidays in several different fonts. You can stamp it and die cut it, but you can also die cut the words and put them on a shadow layer. It has sub-sentiments that go with it. So I stamped out this word, holidays, die cut it out, and I'm stamping above it the word happy and below it warm wishes. Both of those additional stamps are from the same set. So now that I have all the stamping done, I can glue down my main sentiment, or the largest part of the sentiment. Now let's create our shaker. Now that I have the stamping done, I can go ahead and start adding my foam tape to the back of this card. So this is new foam strips from Trinity Stamps. They now carry them in the shop, so that's really cool, and they are great for round shakers because they bend like a dream. I was really impressed with that. So what I want to do is just go all the way around my ornament. However, I don't want to stop there, because then my panel would be like lopsided, like like too flappy in the corners. So I'm going to put foam adhesive on the other parts of my card too, just to make it nice and sturdy. Then I have these Deck the Halls clay bits. So there's like little tiny trees, little holly leaves, and the red berries. Really cute mixture. I love clay bits for my shakers, but I also love seed beads. So I pulled in this little bit of, it's like seed beads with some other little beads in it too, from my stash. I've had it for at least 100 years. So I need a background to put behind my ornament. I wanted it to be red, so I decided let's do some more ink smooshing, because I love it. It's so fun. I haven't done it in a while, so it was just really fun to pull out the inks and get things wet and smash it in there. And I'm adding some water droplets with my distress sprayer and then picking up the excess as it just starts to dry from my heat tool. Of course, let's go in and add some splatter. I had candied apple and festive berries were the two oxide colors I used on this particular background. So here I am coming in with the candied apple and doing some more layers of smooshing and of course splattering. Splattering is like my favorite. Let me know in the comments below if you like ink splattering. Am I the only one? All right, so I added that and then again with some water and just playing around with different techniques that I have seen done before on, you know, Tim Holtz videos and doing the splattering to add those little droplets of color. I just love that. All right, so now we're heat setting that again, picking up any excess with a paper towel. And then here's another thing I like to do is pick up the little bits of excess ink with an acrylic block, and it kind of mimics splatter, but it's like easier to control where you want it to go. So I like to do that. That's pretty fun. And then just dry it off just like that. But I wanted to add even more splatters, so I brought out my peppermint stick mica spray. That is from last year's Christmas release, but I think I did see there is a new Christmas release of mica products coming out, so use what's in your stash or make sure you watch out for the next release, right? So once that was splattered and dry, I added it to the back of my shaker so I had a nice red ornament with some shine and shimmer. The topper for my ornament I cut from some silver mirror cardstock, and then my branches I just cut from some dark green that I thought would coordinate nicely with my background and my shaker bits, and then I can just build up that leafy area so it looks like this is hanging from a branch of a Christmas tree. Isn't that cool? And then I have a little bow from the die set I die cut from some red glitter paper. Now I can add this entire panel down to my card base, and now let's embellish with these new holographic circle embellishments. They're like enamel dots and they have like a holographic finish, and I thought it would just add to like the sparkle and shine of my little, it's like a close-up of a Christmas tree, and I've got the green background, so I thought it was just really a fun embellishment to add, and you know, it's always cool to have something new. All right, so there's the finished shaker, at least for card number 1, and I have other pieces. You remember I die cut from the center of this card to use up, so that's what we're doing on card number 2. Isn't that pretty? I love a shaker card. It's so fun for Christmas. Okay, card number 2, we're going to use that frame. Yes, from the first card, I just pulled out a circle die that I thought would fit behind this to create a shaker. And sometimes not all window sheets will die cut all the way through, but even so, it left a nice line that made it super easy for me to cut with my scissors. And I knew this circle would be the perfect size to cover up this frame. So now we need a background for this. So I'm just bringing out my mica sprays and spraying some different greens down to create a multicolored green background. I just want it to like be green in the background so it does look like it's kind of hanging from a tree, or it gives you that feel, right? So I did some spraying, I'm doing some splattering and just having fun with it. Mica spray stains, you do want to let them dry. Even when it's like the ink is dry, kind of needs some time for the mica part to settle. So be careful not to like rub your hand over it too much. All right, so remember those foam strips? They fit perfectly on the back of this frame, and again, bend so nicely. It was very easy to create this frame into a shaker, which is going to be filled with the glistening snow embellishment mix. These are like little flat back confetti. They don't have a hole in them, so they're pretty cool, very shiny, and have kind of a iridescent quality to them. So there's my shaker. Loving that. And then we just finish up this card kind of like we did before, the silver topper and then the greenery around. Now for this one, I needed to do a little bit of trimming in order to get some of my branches to fit around. I wanted them to kind of look like it was coming from behind. So I did give a little haircut to some of the branches and then glue them so they're right snug up against. And then I just finished filling that in with the pieces, but I wanted my ornament to stand out a little bit more, so I put some glaze on the edge, and now I really need to let that dry. It'll take me, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, and I did a white glitter bow on that one. All right, here's that holiday set again, and I pulled out the Simply Sentimental Happy, which has the same fonts as the holidays, so I can mix and match that happy holiday, the happy Simply Sentimental set with the holidays Simply Sentimental set. So I have those now glued to the top of my ornament. And I am using the new Crafty Glue Friend, and I am really loving this glue. I've been using it a lot. It works great for anything that I'm gluing down, my embellishments like I'm doing now, or the window sheet that I put on the back of my shaker, my cards. It does dry clear, so it's been really a nice glue to use. I thought I would let you know that as I've been using it for a while now. So I just need a little touch of red. So I have these red rhinestones here that I added, and I think they add a really fun touch to those branches. Gorgeous shimmer on this card. So good. Okay, so there is finished card number 2, and now we're going to take that circle piece that came from the center of that ornament frame and make a card with it. So I have had 2 green backgrounds, so I decided let's do the third background red, just for fun, right? So I have those same 2 reds, candied apple and festive berries. I ink smooshed them both onto my mat, spritzed with water, and now I'm just going to pick that up and do a background very much like the one I did for the background of my shaker on card number 1, but I don't know, I'm kind of like getting used to it and getting a little bit more of those, like where the edge of the ink puddle is, I'm getting more lines like that instead of just kind of a solid look. So I liked leaving a little bit of white open space on this one. I just thought it was a really fun look. I don't need it filled completely in. So there's the mica spray stain that is a peppermint stick, and I just sprayed that on, and then it's time for splatter. So I not only on this card splattered with the mica spray, I am going to add another layer of splatter, and that's going to be the Picket Fence Distress Paint in, well, it's white. It's called Picket Fence. Yeah. All right. So I'm splattering that just as I did before, tapping my brush on the edge of the block. Then I can get some of my dots of paint are bigger and some are smaller. If I want tiny ones, I do this. I drag it on the edge of my block, or sometimes even like a window sheet works really good. Okay. So here is that circle. I decided I would take those pine branches from the die set and just kind of go around the circle and fill it in, kind of giving it the look of a wreath. So that was really fun to do, just like make your own wreath. Like people do that for their doors. I just do it with paper. Why does it work better for me with paper than it does with a real wreath? I don't know. I have made my own wreaths before, but I just feel like for some reason my talents are best with paper. Yeah. All right, so we're just going all around this circle, and I think this circle is a good one to save. Even if you don't end up making a card with it, there's so many times in your creative making that you just need a circle. So when this die, you cut out the little ornament and you have that left over, just save it in your stash. You can make something like this or use it on a different card even. So I thought it was really handy thing to add into my collection. Now I'm adding the bow right there at the top, another red bow, and I think this one is red glitter paper also. Yeah. So there's my little faux wreath, and it looks a little right now, but you got to add to it sometimes to make it really pop. So speaking of adding to things to make them pop, I am adding a little bit of that candied apple ink around the edge of this card to help draw the eye into the center and give it a little bit of dimension there. So I'll do that on all 4 sides, and that'll be a nice effect on this card. It's a pretty simple card, and I think that it's maybe my favorite. I don't know. But I would love for you to tell me which one you love the best. I always love hearing that. I love chatting with you in the comments below. So feel free to leave me a comment and I will chat with you. And if you like this video, would you let me know with a thumbs up? That's always helpful to know which kinds of videos you guys like the best. Okay, so I brought back my Simply Sentimental Happy set and the new Holiday set and paired the 2 sentiments together that had the matching font. This time I did die cut the black letters and mount them onto the white frame or mat, and then added some of those red rhinestones as berries on my wreath. And this card just is so bright and cheery. I love the addition of the white splatter. That is so magical. And I think it's a really pretty and kind of simple card. Simple for me, anyway. So here you can see all 3 cards side by side, and make sure that you check out the other videos in today's hop as well as our Instagram hop. You can come find me on Instagram. My handle there is Carrie Rhodes, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below, as well as the new products for you to check out. And I will see you all again very soon with a new video. Happy stamping! Bye!